We going bad to bad. Drizzy. Back-to-back days out here. Undisclosed location. Airplane up in the air. It is what it is. So again, I'ma just get straight to the point of this video. The Black Messiah. I'm gonna talk about Fred Hampton. And I'm gonna talk about something that is crazy. Like, I think because of my experience in life, right? Having my father, who's Ugandan, my mother, who's Italian, obviously having family from both sides, growing up with them and stuff, right? A lot of the beliefs that I have today are shaped off of my experience, right? And for so long, like throughout my life, right? I always felt this need of unity. Need for unity. Need for being a person of the people, right? No matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, right? So, as a kid, right? And I think even with a lot of kids who like don't grow up with a certain experience that I did, race and religion and these differences are not as like crystal clear to you as you get older, of course, right? And I feel like especially for me, it was just even different because I had like family who didn't look like me, right? And didn't even look like me completely on both sides, right? Like being lighter skin, but still black, right? I always felt this need for unity though. I always felt this thing of understanding that there are people who look like me, who care about me. There's people who don't look like me who care about me. And there's people who don't look like me, who hate me. And there's people who look like me who hate me. And understanding humanity, like for what it is, right? So then, as I start to immerse myself like in this content, right? And seeing whatever we got on social media nowadays, I go into my history books, all right? And I'm gonna keep it a stack, all right? I don't really read like that, you know? So I actually had to go back and educate myself. And I go back and I read about Fred Hampton, the Black Messiah. And I read about his work where he was forming coalitions and groups to fight oppression with people of all different races, religions, backgrounds, whatever it is. Then I think about the fact that they killed him at 21 years old. And I'm like, why would they do such a thing? It's because they realized that he was powerful beyond measure. For many different reasons, but especially because he saw beyond the division in life that does occur, right? There's prejudice, discrimination, and racism that goes between racial and religious lines. But he also saw how the oppressors amplify that shit on purpose so that we forget that many of us have the same oppressors. The elites, the people with money, right? They got his ass up out of there. Malcolm X, who is also one of my favorite activists, right? From time. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like growing up, I feel it's like, since I wasn't reading like that, it was just like, yeah, like I messed with Malcolm X because everyone was saying I gotta mess with Malcolm X. Then you get older and you start actually like reading, right? And you understand why you mess with him, right? And then you see that like a lot of his teaching from early on in his days was like, I feel like personally, it was leaning more towards separatism, right? Then later on in his life, he started kind of changing his view. He's like, I understand, like, we got to do our own thing and stuff, right? And black people have to support black people. But we have to be able to live amongst each other in harmony. What did they do to him when he figured that out? I say all this to say, right? As I'm getting more involved with like, I like to say that I'm more with like the social media crowd now, right? Especially like in Toronto, and I'm starting to come up, I'm starting to meet people, and I'm thankful for it, right? I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm also like a chronically online person. I be scrolling every single day. I'm addicted to this. But there's definitely a form of content that I would always consume from when I was young, more so than others. I never gave the race war and the religion war online my time of day. Like, I always just thought it was like, it's like I always had a feeling, even before I knew about Fred Hampton and I knew about like Malcolm X's like realizations later on in life, I always looked at this stuff and I'm like, man, because I get it. You go on any social media platform, you go on your TV, and what are you gonna see? You're gonna see people who don't look like you talking bad about people who look like you and being racist. It's not funny. But you see that, right? Now, example, Charlie Kirk. I'm not even gonna touch what happened to Charlie Kirk, right? I'm not even gonna touch that. I'm not even gonna give an opinion on that. That is a whole next can of worms, and I don't even know if I'm ready for that comment section yet. I don't even know if I'm ready to like touch that. But let me say something about Charlie Kirk. A memory that I have about Charlie Kirk was something that he said that I saw like when I was flipping through like YouTube videos one day of him saying like, yeah, like when I see a black pilot, I'm gonna think that he's unqualified and that he's a DEI hire. Now, you know what I would do when I see something like that? I don't even like to cuss on here, but I'm turning that shit the fuck off, bro. Fuck that. I see some bullshit like that, I'm turning that off. Like, and then you go on TikTok, you go on this, you will see people, white people, brown people, saying things along those lines and talking bad about us. Bro, I'm not consuming that stuff, broski. Why would I? Bro, look at where I'm at right now. Look at where I'm at. If I turn that off, broski, get that away from me. I'm out here. I'm out here. Bro, button that, man. And in the same sense, you could turn on social media and you'll find some black people who are talking bad about black people. Bro, I'm turning that off, man. I'm turning that off. I'm not consuming this. So it wasn't until recently where I started like going down these rabbit holes and I'm scrolling, and I'm seeing all these divisions, you know, black versus white, Christian versus Muslim. Even within the black community, dark skin versus light skin, men versus women. Broski. Oh, big ass bug. Broski, turn that off, bro. Stop watching this. Stop. You know why? Because you're watching these videos, right? That again, a lot of it is pushed out to us. A lot of it is curated. A lot of it is controlled to continue the race war. Because they want you to watch these videos and then say, man, if you look like the person who said this, I can't be messing with you, bruh. When I will find white people, brown people, of course, black people, but some black people will agree. But I will find people of all different races, religions who will watch stuff like this and be like, this is some bullshit. And that's my lived experience. So that Fred Hampton said, especially at a time when Fred Hampton was around, You think based off what he's seeing around him, what business do I have working with white people? What business do I have working with Latino people? What business do I have? Because of what I'm seeing. He realized this is what they want us to think, bro. Because I'll tell you this right now, and Fred Hampton said this, the oppressor, the people who really run this for real, they don't give a damn about all these wars and all. They don't care. It is good for business for them. They make money off this. They don't want any form of unity between us. And it's like when all the Black Messiah, okay? We have Fred Hampton. We have the original Black Messiah. First episode of Boondocks. Once they start saying a certain message, they gotta get them up out of there. They have to. Because they're like, oh shoot, this guy's starting to like realize what we're trying to do. I see things on social media. I've even experienced some things. I even experienced some things of people who don't look like me, slighting me, saying things to me that I don't appreciate, saying things that hurt my feelings, saying things that make me want to fight them. And there are people who look like me and who don't look like me, who I could confide in and talk to them about these things, and they understand me. And they're there for me, and they're like, Jim, this is awful. What can I do to help? In the life that I live, where I'm at right now, I would not meet up at the park with nobody who doesn't have a revolution on their mind, who's not trying to overcome all forms of oppression in all ways. And one of the biggest forms is the rich versus the poor. It really cheeses me, you know? It really cheeses me. The last thing that they want is for us to like, let's just take a day to like, all right, he got braids, he got this. All right, she's dating a black man. Oh, but he's dating a white girl. The last thing they want is for us just for one day to stop talking about that and be like, they're eating human. Shout out Soul Illuminati, man. A lot of this is satire, so don't even. But this is what I'm saying, though. It's the last thing that they want from us, bro. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping, right? Maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, we're going back to back. As always, I appreciate the watch. I'll see you guys on the next one.